think that's it. Good. Let's go. That's taking a while. All right, I'm just getting set up as always. And once I'm ready, I'll start talking. I mean, start talking like, not like I'm talking now. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Good. Audio. Good. Good. And just to double check. Hey, Bruins, how's it going, Titus? DLive. Oh, let's go Steemit, actually. My blog. Oh, okay, we're live. Good. All right. Well, this might be a short night, at least for here, because James, I think, is going to be starting his up in about 40 minutes. We'll see. But then he's got another 40 minutes of monologue. So maybe we got extra time. How's it going, Shirley? So, before I start, I actually want to show something here on my screen. And let me know what you guys think as we get more people in. It's kind of like a prelude, maybe. Okay, you've got CNN, who's got 3.1 million subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers, right? You got Jimmy Dore with 316,000 subscribers. So about 100 times more subscribers than Jimmy Dore CNN has. This is just, of course, YouTube. It's not, a lot of people probably watch CNN on TV. Why would they even bother to subscribe here? And what I like to mention is just look at the views. I haven't refreshed this page very much, but you see it's like in the 12K, 5.8K, 136K, 101K, 63K. That was a big one. 35K, 14K, 54K, 40K, 12K, 75K. Now, if I compare Jimmy Dore, who's got, mind you, 100 times less subscribers than CNN, you've got 3K, 48K, 58K, 59K, 62K, 14K, 70K, 41K, 55K, 75K, 48K, 19K. You would think that someone with 100 times less subscribers would have, maybe I'm just saying it backwards. Someone who has 100 times more subscribers would have 100 times, maybe not even 100, let's say 50 times. Let's say not even 50, let's say 10 times more views, but that's not the case. Anyway, it's just something to make you think. How's it going, Eric? Uh-oh, looks like, oh, okay. Gab is going to get an update. Like Gab in general or Gab your page? Okay, so another thing that I was looking at earlier yesterday. Sorry if I keep looking up, I just have to look at my screen. My second screen. One day it'll be a little bit better set up, but that day is not now. Oh no, failed to connect to server. Someone blocked me off of DLive. Hold on, gotta see what the mess is. It's still live. Oh. Okay, it's streaming again. That was weird. Hey, Rob. Yeah, it has been a long time. Hey there, Duplicate. Okay. So the reason why I chose this topic is, you know, a lot of us have been educated through the public sector, public education. I'm pretty sure of that. I've been through it. As far as K through 12. My wife, on the other hand, I think she went through all private school except for high school. But a lot of us, if we look back through our textbooks or school textbooks, and of course we can never seem to keep them. We always have to return them. I always think it has a big censored. It's censored. If you actually go out and learn other things outside whatever the textbooks say, you're gonna be surprised at all the things that you learn. And maybe that's why I didn't pay attention much in school. But maybe because I didn't pay much attention in school, I think that the education was censored. See, that's double bind. That could be bad. For example, I watched something of Jordan Peterson. I actually like what the guy says. If you listen to what he says, not necessarily just base him off of whatever ideology, because he's a different ideology, you just want to pinpoint the things you don't like. He's got some good stuff to say. And one thing I tweeted earlier was, and I should have tweeted something else. There's actually a video out there where Vice News, they edited a conversation they had and just kind of put snippets to fit a specific narrative. And I thought that's bullshit. I don't like that. If you watch the entire uncut version, which this does have, it's great. And then you watch the edited version and you're like, oh wow, they just really kind of set him up a little bit. It's kind of dumb. And one of the things that excuse me, one of the things that I do is, of course, have everything live, unedited. I may have snippets here and there, but not interviews, not debates or anything like that. That's just that there's that buildup of conversation that you can have when you're actually having a live discussion. And if you miss out on little pieces, you might come back. It's like when you go and take a break because the conversation is getting boring, and then you come back and it's like, oh, that conversation is exciting. And then you listen to someone and you're like, oh, what's this guy talking about? It doesn't make any sense, because you just missed the entire context of the part where we went away. And I know I keep jumping around, and I am sorry. Let's see. Try to find it. Okay. Nope. Oh, I know what it was. Here we go. This is what I watched, and I think it's pretty cool. All right, I'll go ahead and show it. Maybe I could be able to explain it later.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a lot different, man. That's a big difference. It's so great. And so, like, one of the things I tell young men, well, and young women as well, but the young men really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster. Because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no. Wrong. You should be a monster. An absolute monster, and then you should learn how to control it.
Do you know the expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war?
Right, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And so when I tell young men that, they think, well, lots of them are competitive. They're low in agreeableness, because that's...
So what they're talking about, and what Jordan Peterson's alluding to, is that the meek shall inherit the earth if you follow the Bible. A lot of people take that to mean the weak, but of course, if they just wanted to mean the weak, why not just say the weak will inherit the earth? That's not necessarily the case. So meek is actually a different meaning, and it's the meek are basically, I guess you could say, humble warriors, people who are ready to attack, to incur revenge or violence, but they hold back. They learn the control, the discipline, to decide maybe it's not necessary, or that, or when the time is right, yes, you can go and unleash your wrath on whoever it is. And so it's when he states be a monster, and of course, again, like I was saying before, there's a lot of context missing, at least about a minute and a half. So if you watch it from the beginning, you might be able to understand it a little bit better. But yeah, when you go through life, and especially this one, the life we have right now, and in this time, in this place, you really have to fight for whatever you want. If someone says, "Hey, I'm sorry, you can't do this," but other people are doing, that person's doing it, and you just say, "Okay, he told me I can't do this, so I won't do it." And then you're not standing up for yourself. Other people out there, they might see it, they'll take advantage of you, and you're basically a coward. You're not going to stand up for yourself. You're not going to stand up for others who are weaker than you. So you've got to be strong. You've got to take a stance, take some action every once in a while. And that's what it means to be a grown-up. You can play all the games you want. You can go out and enjoy yourself all you want. But once you get up to a certain point in your life and you realize that there's a responsibility that you have, not only to yourself, that's the first step, but to others, that's when you know you've grown up. And yeah, it probably took me 35 years for me to grow up. Hey, at least I got there. I would say I didn't really grow up until I moved to Boston all by myself, with nothing, pretty much. And I learned to take care of myself. I learned how to survive on my own without relying on anyone else. That is the first step, I would say, is to learning to be strong, be self-reliant, know that what you have to do, you just can't back down and just say, I failed, so I'll just sit back and wither away. You know, when you don't have anyone else to rely on, you realize you can't, I mean, you wouldn't be here. There are always people that can rely on you, and you can rely on others, and you build this support network. But when you don't have that, you really have to push yourself to be, I guess you could say, well, self-sufficient. I wouldn't say meek. It's a little bit different. Boy, it's hard talking to myself. I hate that. But I know I'm talking to you guys. I'd rather have other people to converse with. But it's also kind of where we get to the point where, at least in this dialogue part, the point that I'm trying to make is I know people that really want to change the world, that really see the 2016 election, how Trump was so bad. Uh-oh, Tequila Mockingbird. Who's Tequila Mockingbird? There's so many clones of me. It's scary. I mean, I think that's why everyone says all Asians look alike.
Not this one.
Okay. So everyone knows that's James. What, your camera not working, James?
I got it.
Okay. I mean, Tequila.
Oh, wait. I got to plug it in. Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
And how are you doing? I'll just say, let's listen. So you're doing a show tonight, right?
Yes, about 9 o'clock till about 11:30.
Okay, starting late.
Well, you started, so I didn't want to overlap you. Or
no, you don't need to overlap me. What I end up doing is I go, oh, James is monologuing. Okay, we're about ready to go.
Okay. Well, I'll start at 8:30 then, and I'll do my monologue.
Yeah. So whenever you start your monologue, I see it, and I go, okay, it's time to wind down. Switch over to James.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, what you were talking about earlier, or just now, about being independent or being self-reliant. It's great to see. I mean, California is full of, everybody has to be independent. If you, like I just put in there in the chat, if you can't properly take care of yourself, how do you expect to take care of anybody else? And I'm not perfect at that, I'll tell you right now. But the biggest thing is there's a lot of independent people and a lot of seriously independent women out here in California that do a great, as a matter of fact, a lot of them are doing better than the men from what I'm hearing. But besides being productive and getting out in the workplace and, you know, doing what they need to do, there's that other aspect of just being able to take care of yourself in any environment, you know, which is not easy to do. And we have some people in states that the environment is very brutal to them, like Alabama, Arkansas. All the southern states are so brutal upon, you know, the working poor, the homeless, the middle class itself. And then, you know, states like this where we actually have a little bit more opportunity than others, you're going to pay for it because the rent is high. It's too damn high. But yeah, so when I hear about being self-reliant, it's tough, and you have to prepare yourself. And I tell my kids, I say, guys, don't be like your dad. You know, I'm like loser. You know, loser.
No.
Okay, but the thing is they're doing better than I ever did when I was their age. They are doing far better than I did. I just got a report that Chase hit one to the fence and that he pitched 12 pitches and struck out 3. So that's fantastic tonight. It's a baseball game. But anyway, I gotta always talk about the sports. Got to talk about the sport, right? But the biggest point I'm really trying to make is you've got to set yourself up right. And I honestly did not. I had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and like I was saying in my last show yesterday, is you're one choice away from making a dramatic change. And I got this from who's the Wolf of Wall Street? I forgot his name.
I don't know his name.
Okay, well, everybody knows who the Wolf of Wall Street is, right? I forgot his name. But that's what was stated, I think, in his movie, and that's in his book and in his videos. He always says that. You're one decision away from dramatic change at some point in your life. You know, if you make this decision, you could go, or if you make this decision, you go, ah. Mm-hmm. You know, it just depends. But you have to be prepared for those decisions. And that's where it gets tough, you know.
Yeah. But you're here now. I don't think you give yourself enough credit. I mean, you've noticed your mistakes. I mean, if you had to go do it over again, would you be better prepared?
Yeah, I would have done things totally different. But the learning, the bricks, I'm not talking like, for me, the bricks were like just like a few bricks. Mm-hmm. We're talking like a castle full of fucking bricks that fell on my house, that fell on my head. Yeah. And I still do the wrong things. And I'll still, you know, I've got lumps on my head for thousands of bricks.
So did you have public education? Did you grow up with public education from
Yes,
K to 12? Yes,
I did. I went to 10 different elementary schools, which was tough for me.
Military parents?
No, my dad was an entertainer. He played with like Sammy Davis Jr. He played with Dean Martin. He had gigs in Canada. I lived in Canada. I lived in Texas for a while, all up and down the coast of Washington, Oregon, California. Lived in Alaska. But when you're going to all these schools, structure is not there. I had to learn how to make friends quick. I learned how to, you know, protect myself quick in other aspects. But as far as school, I just barely made it every year, just barely got by. I did actually graduate from high school on time, and I walked the line. There's a whole other story on the first year that I was in high school, but that will be saved for something else.
Do you think your education prepared you for life outside of school?
No, I still think they're not teaching the kids the right thing. I totally and absolutely think, I mean, balance your checkbook. book. Know how to fix your FICO scores. Know how to pay off your credit cards. 51% or 60% of it, keep it paid off. And make your payments on. You do little things that I never knew about that I had to fix when I bought my first house back in 2003, I think. I bought my first house in 2002, 2003. Then I had another one. But I didn't know any of those things forever. And just how to be more organized, how to prioritize. I'm still shitty at that. But there's a lot of things that they don't teach. I do totally believe that they need to teach the Constitution and the way everything works in all the branches, judiciary, legislative, and executive branches. They need to teach kids how all those things work, voting processes, just the things that will help their future. And, none of us knew that. I knew how to make a fucking pie in economics, right? I knew how to make a bong, in shop class. Everybody made bongs. Oh, what's that cylinder thing you're making there? Sir, we're going to apply it to the Volkswagen we're working on right here. What's the little hole for that's kind of drilled at an angle? Looks like you're putting like a little stem or something in there. Just to regulate it. Just bullshit. They didn't know what the fuck we were doing. But yeah, school still sucks.
Hi, Stevie. How's it going?
Oh, hey, Stevie.
I think.
Hello.
All right. Do you want to chime in too, Stevie? Do you think your education, your public education, I'm guessing, prepared you for life after school?
Not really. I mean, I took classes that were interesting, that were fun, that, challenged me, but not anything that I graduated. I'm like, all right, now I'm set, like I know how to sew a button or cook this or fix that or build anything. I mean, I could calculate, some math for you, plot on a graph, but it doesn't really help you in your day-to-day life. I would have liked to have seen definitely more of a focus on that. There needs to be probably just interpersonal, I think that's the right word, education on basically how to talk to people, emotional, type of introspective kind of education to understand yourself, to understand others, stuff like that. I mean, that's really what you need. I mean, even in business and anything, you have to deal with people. You have to, be able to know your own mind. So that would be something that, probably even in elementary school would be something for that even, but yeah, not anything that would really set you for life.
And she's younger, and she's so much younger, and she's saying the same thing I'm saying. That's the sad part about it. They're still not doing. I have to teach. Every kid should learn how to swing a hammer or a pickaxe. There's a way to swing a fucking pickaxe. People don't think there is, and people should know how to change a tire. You should know how. I got guys at work that I work with. He bought an old beat up BMW that he's going to fix up, but he knows nothing about. I go, he says it's stuttering or something like that. I said, well, your plug wires are probably arcing off of the manifold. He goes, what the fuck did you just say? He has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. When it comes to these things and computer technology, building computers, a lot of kids kind of know that, but there's so many other things that they're not teaching them and getting prepared for those simple life skills. Definitely what Red said is how to converse, use your words, right? How to converse and talk with people and, come to solutions and problem solve and what critical thinking really is. And all these things, I don't think they're close to doing any of that shit. So it's kind of sad.
We haven't even broached the censored part yet, but yeah, they don't do any social skills. They expect, basically your high school is your social skill, right? How you make friends, talk with other kids. I mean, if you're shy, or I was kind of shy. I was also mostly quiet. I just like observing. So then I got kind of grouped into that shy person type of thing. But yeah, it's and then that's also confidence. You need to teach children confidence, that when they do something good, you see, and something that they enjoy, you see that confidence in there. And then you add in another human, another factor, and you see that confidence just kind of go away, because just something's holding them back. And it might just be the social persona, that they don't want to appear to be something that other people would call them out, and that might have negative connotations.
And I think it's becoming a growing problem, because we're relying more and more on technology to communicate with each other, and a lot of that gets lost. You know, when you're in chat or somewhere like that, you know, or you're behind the anonymity thing. It's like, you know, people are just terrible to each other on the internet. I wouldn't want my kid learning social skills from the internet. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's even more necessary now.
Yeah, we lost some people here on chat because of just typing. You got to be the sad thing about live chat, and everybody knows this, but I just have to reiterate it, is I don't think grammar or punctuation is complete. I think there should be, and people use emojis, right, to express how they're feeling when they're talking. They'll put a happy face, today really sucked, and then they put a smiley face. Like, are you kidding? You had a good day? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So punctuation needs to be updated. The way, I mean, there are kids, I mean, my kids, they talk in emojis sometimes with their friends. Just emoji. It's like a code, you know? But it's amazing. It's amazing how we're evolving as a society and as a culture. But I don't think we're learning what we need to learn. You know, I think there's a lot of things we're definitely missing. All right, I'm going to go.
All right.
I got to get prepared and do my little giggly gig.
Sounds good. We'll see you there in a bit.
Fuck that, man. Giggly. I think I just created a new word. I'm going to go do my giggly gig.
Perfect example of public education, everybody.
That's right. Go to school and get your giggly gig on. Aloha.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Later. How do I get out of
here? I could boot you.
Yeah, but just boot me.
All right.
I'll leave meeting. Bye-bye.
There you go. All right. So it's what, 30 minutes in, and now I'm finally getting to the topic. What if your education was censored? So if right now we see censorship everywhere. We see censorship in the internet, YouTube. I mean, you guys are watching through YouTube, interacting through YouTube. Of course, we're going to have censorship. So why would people not think that other parts in history were censored, especially censorship through TV in the past, censorship through books and news and magazines, newspapers. And so what would you do? I mean, right now when we're censored or we see things that are censored, do we just say, oh, we weren't supposed to read that or watch that or hear about that? Do we just kind of leave it alone and just brush it past? Or do we just actually go into it a little bit more and investigate? Hey, why did you censor this? What was the purpose of it? Is it, of course, there's that political correctness is in one way of censorship. There's censorship because of national security. There's censorship because of what are other ways of other reasons why things are censored, Stevie? Maybe religion.
Censored because of religion. What was the other one you said?
Like national security, and also
Oh, I noticed one of the big ones now is offense. You're censoring things because you don't want to upset a certain group of people. It's like we need safe spaces. We can't have hurt feelings. Like that's, but at the same time, it's like the stuff that they do teach, I find way more offensive than like the stuff that is actually true. It's like they're trying to tell. I saw in a history book where they were painting the Trail of Tears as an act of kindness by the Native Americans. Like they just did that because they were super nice and they wanted us to have land. I'm like, I don't think that's how it went down. Like, that is more offensive. But then, they do it under a guise of, well, we just have to be PC.
Yeah. And do you think that actually helps people or makes things worse?
Gosh, it makes things so much worse.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes it's horrific. But there's a reason why in Germany that they don't hide that. Well, I mean, not that anybody would ever let them forget it, but they do that for a reason. So it's like they don't make those same mistakes again.
Yeah.
So if we don't teach our kids that, we will. But that's why they do it. They want us to keep voting for Reaganomics and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And remember, like the statue issue. Remember how they're trying to take down statues of Confederate soldiers and whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a part of history that we need to keep around, and it's good or bad. It's what happened, and we need to know that it happened so we don't repeat the mistakes. If the people who deem it a mistake think it's a mistake, or people who deem it as, hey, it was okay, at least there's the context that, hey, this is what happened in the past, and this was the result after all of that. Do we want to go through with that again? That's basically the takeaway. If you don't stop it to enough where you're gonna not repeat that same mistake. And I think if you censor it, you censor history, you censor whatever it is that people should know more about, they're just gonna make that same mistake again, and it's gonna have the same results. And if it was a harmful period, it's gonna cause that same harm. But I think people, I mean, we're not the norm, I would think. I wish we were the norm, but when we see censorship, we're like, oh, what the hell did you guys try to censor? Why would you guys try to censor? We just keep looking into it. But other people who are censored, they're like, okay, we weren't supposed to go here, so let's just go do something else. Let's go watch TV. Let's go watch more news, which, that they put it on a nice plate for them to watch.
Yeah, and I'd rather have just the raw history, the data and all that. Because I mean, I don't know, if I just forgot about the mistakes I've made in my life, I'd still be making them. It's like I would not. When you think about all the like terrible stuff that happens in people's lives, it's like, yeah, it's bad, but without that, you wouldn't have the knowledge and experience that you have now. And you wouldn't be able to save yourself from that same situation. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it is so critical that we get this stuff right. Because, I mean, you see the effects of it. We're doing it right now. They're rewriting history in like real time. They're doing it now. With I mean, look at the election. I mean, okay, it was Russia. Okay, because I'm pretty sure I was there and I didn't see, I don't see it.
Yeah.
But they're trying so hard. And that's now. I mean, imagine the history from 100, 200 years ago.
Yeah.
But they can do that.
Rewrite it. Yeah. All they needed was control the printing press. There you go.
Yeah.
And so you've got kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would there be anything that you censor? Like, say they turn 18, they're ready to go live off on their own. They figure they're just going to take a job and find an apartment to live in just to get away. I mean, they may be nearby. Is there something about your life that you think that's really important that might be something a normal parent wouldn't say to their kids? You just don't want to censor something that they may have to go through. I mean, is that something that you would do?
I'm not sure what I get what you mean.
For example, I kind of don't want. I won't say anything, but okay. So recently, there's someone I know who found out that his mother had an affair and had him with the other person, and that his brothers weren't his real brothers. That they're stepbrothers.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and it wasn't until late in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, that's just one censorship there that you tell your kids, because one, it's bad because it's something that you might have done that wasn't very culturally acceptable. Mm-hmm. And also it's something where as a parent, maybe your decision was, the person that I'm married to now that he thinks is his father raising him, at least, but not biologically their father. And so you don't want to change that dynamic, but when's the best choice to tell that kid? I mean, and maybe it's also
okay. I know exactly what you mean, and I'm kind of in the same situation. Well, not in the same situation, but I'm in a situation with my oldest son. He's 7. Mm-hmm. So when he was younger, and me and his dad went through a divorce. It was awful. It was pretty nasty. Mm-hmm. But I didn't go into it with him. I didn't talk about it with him. I went vaguely over the general points, like this is what you can expect, and I'm still here, all this stuff. But as he's getting older, if he's curious, I always tell him, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Mm-hmm. So I always leave that door open for him. And as he gets older, of course, I'll probably, have to tell him a little bit more about, what went down and why it went down the way that it did. But, for right now, it's like, he's 7. So, I try to put it in terms to where he could understand it.
Yeah.
But I would not cut my kids off from any kind of information whatsoever. If they have any questions, I always answer it. 'Cause nothing, I just don't see, if they're curious, that means they're already interested in something. Their brain, just because you say, well, we're not going to talk about it, it's not going to shut their brain off. They're still going to be obsessing over it. And they'll try to find, their own answers or come to their own conclusions. And I'd rather help them through it than have them do that on their own.
Yeah. Hey, Snork. Hey, Fly, Kevin, Kath. Now, in regards to, we get a lot of information back from our government because of so-called national security, and we get a lot of, especially when FOIA requests occur, and just, I'm going to give you an example. The JFK assassination that occurred how many years ago? 50? More than 50 years ago? It was a long time. And so how is it a matter of national security to now, 50 years later, to redact and not give out the full context of what happened? What's the national security part? Now, is it security that is going to kill people or make it unsafe for people who were part of the assassination or cover up or whatever? Or is it more of a national security is like the reason why it was censored and not revealed to the public was because once it's revealed to the public's going to get angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, when it comes to national security, it's tricky because they want to put everything underneath that umbrella, so you can never learn the truth about stuff. But at the same time, it's like, I understand there has to be a certain level of discretion, with the military and stuff like that. So it's a tricky line, but I'm not really, there's just, I'd have to go like case by case. I wouldn't know how to sum it up exactly, but there's just some things. And as far as like the JFK stuff goes, I think the only reason that they keep stuff like that secret is because they might want to do it again.
Yeah.
They don't want to tell us about the mischievous. It's like, it's like the cheating spouse scenario. It's like, well, God, if I fess up to my wife, then I might have to stop my, lecherous ways, So that's kind of what our government does. They don't want to stop being assholes. Not anytime soon.
Oh goodness. So what else can we do? I mean, we get to the point where we want information and they go nope, and we keep saying nope. And is there any other thing that we can do, unless we're, I guess, breaking into or having someone inside leak all the information that we're looking for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's why. I mean, you see the way that they cracked down on these whistleblowers.
Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly why that whole thing with Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, Susie. I mean, it's just they don't want people out there speaking the truth, and it's going to take a lot of people. And I don't even know how many people it would take, honestly, because you look at all the people that doubt 9/11, that are yelling for answers about 9/11. They still won't go into that. And look how loud that group is. I mean, that is a very vocal, large group of people. Yeah. And they still won't. They say, nah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah. It's national security because we want to protect the terrorists.
Because we look forward. We don't look back.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't think of a good reason. And they can't either, really. The reasoning is always a subset of the same thing all the time. It's always that. Well, first it's the national security, and then it's like, okay, what are you securing nationally? Is it? I mean, it's terrorists. So wouldn't it be good to know all the things that led up to it if you were warned that it was going to happen?
Yeah, is it worth securing? Is that information that we really need to secure?
And how they got about it, like how it, I don't know. It's weird because every I remember reading a long time ago. I think this is after or before it happened. Oh, of course, that means anytime. I'm sorry. So these people, especially who are in the military, would go to different military installations, or and they would try their best to go in, sneak in, or just cause some type of fake sabotage, and then escape without anyone knowing who was on guard or on duty. And they would report and say, hey, your security is too lax. You guys need to shore it up. But they would, of course, in order for it to work, they would just make sure that no one except would know about it, or if something did happen, that they can quell it really fast and say, hey, this was a test. But that type of information is useful. But then what you end up seeing is the military is saying, hey, no, we don't want this information getting out. I mean, you don't want that information getting out, but it got out. And then now that there's vulnerabilities and you guys aren't ready for the vulnerabilities. Now, isn't that more of a national security? Not that you're suppressing that there is a vulnerability, but that you actually have a vulnerability.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't give a damn about national security. You see this whole thing with Russiagate. Oh, our election system, it was tampered with. Well, and they're not doing anything to fix the voting machines. They're not doing anything to fix the elections, to make sure that people can actually get out there and vote and all this stuff. I mean, it's just, they don't give a damn when it comes to climate change. That's a huge national security issue, and they don't address it. They don't give a damn about national security. They give a damn about covering their asses.
Yeah, that's true. Man, what else can we go with this? I mean, there's just okay, we got the vulnerabilities. Oh, yeah. I mean, we have all this money, all this power, all these personnel, all these experts, and we can't stop what was it? They're saying 13 hackers from Russia to meddle in our elections. And
God.
and
That's
so
just so ridiculous.
yeah, what they need is an investigative team, either a third party or the public or people in positions of power. Help. Just come up. I think they're supposed to just come up with a commission saying, okay, how did this happen? How do we prevent it? And it, like, we don't even see that happening. There's no investigation, or if that investigation happens, is we found out how they did it and we made sure that they can't do it anymore. But they don't even do that.
Nope.
And corporations, companies, if that happened, if you hacked, just look at Sony. Once that happened, they're like, okay, it's never going to happen again. We're just operating this way. It's not like they're asking for more money, because they don't get more money. They actually lose a lot more money because everyone's leaving. Their stock prices go down. No one wants to give them money to expand, like private money. Hey, how's it going, Eric?
Hey, Eric.
I think he's setting up. Oh, there you go. Hi, how's it going?
Good. How about yourselves?
Good. Anything you wanted to chime in about?
What was I gonna say? Like, when it comes to censorship, it sucks.
Yeah. What did you go to private school or public school?
Public school.
Public school. Do you think it got you ready for life outside of school?
Somewhat, but not really.
When do you think, what did you learn, or what age, or what made you feel like you were just ready for just life outside of school? You're comfortable with that if you had to be alone and just kind of go through life alone for a little while, that you'd be okay with it?
Life alone? Yeah, I would actually, wouldn't mind being alone, though, because you do need your time to yourself in life.
Yep. I mean, alone, I mean more of like, you don't have like a support system, like having to handle, say, a month without having to rely on anybody else. Just
depending upon what, though, like what the specifics.
All right. Let's say, Florida. Okay, remember that hurricane that went through Florida?
Oh God.
All right. Let's say it actually was a lot worse, and you didn't have any power where you were at. That they were trying to evacuate people, but it was going to take a couple weeks, maybe a month, and
we would have gone somewhere else. Like, we can't sit inside this house with all that heat. Ugh, it's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. But you're pretty much prepared to be able to figure out what to do next, where to go, what your needs are, and how would you try to communicate with those outside if you didn't have like cell coverage? Like
cell phone?
Yeah, like say your car didn't work, or your car was gone. You had no mode of transportation. You had no electricity. There's no cell towers working. There's no communication ability. And so what's going through your head as far as what to do next?
In this scenario, is my house gone?
Your house is still okay. It's the first level's flooded and there's no power. And you've got some food, but and some jugs of water, but that's kind of about it. Like, it won't last a whole month if it came down to them evacuating. Like you hear it, like, I don't know. You just hear from word of mouth that, hey, that people are going to be, the National Guard's going to come, but it's going to be a couple of days, maybe a few weeks.
No, I would just get a boat and just get the fuck out.
Okay. Well, at least you're thinking about different options.
Yeah, because I'm like, why do I need to sit in a flooded house? And plus, what if it gets mosquito infested and shit, and I don't want to get fucked up by mosquitoes.
Good idea.
And I would just boat right the fuck out. Like, just get like, a paddle boat.
Well, where would you go?
I don't know.
Okay. Now, if you were censored, as far as
oh fuck no, I won't let it happen. I'll even speak louder and speak nastier.
Yeah,
because that's my First Amendment right.
Oh, I think he's getting his MAGA hat.
Fuck censorship. Support the right. Support the First Amendment right. And don't take shit from anybody, even if it's something that you actually disagree. At least have a conversation or discussion about it. It could be either public or private. Just be reasonable and rational. Just no censorship. I mean, I've learned that lesson from from the past. And, with, happening to me, happening to others, if I did something, I do apologize for it. But, it's that right to, speak. You got to speak your mind.
Mm-hmm. What if
if it's something insane? But yeah, you have to have a good counter argument. Like, why? And like, I would just like to ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Oh, let's double check something real quick just to see if James has started. All right, he hasn't yet. So sorry, just keeping track. Dang it. What? I don't know how to say this. Like, I would say that there's historical textbooks out there it's probably released now. I would say that like some things that are probably so crazy that people are thinking, hey, no one's going to believe it anyway, so let's go ahead and release it type of thing. But there's also probably things out there that they don't want anyone to see, whether it's the higher ups, oligarchs.
That's like some like
religious...
That's like some like sorry.
No problem. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
That's like some like like Disney censorship shit. Like
look at the so Catholicism, Roman Catholicism.
Yeah.
The Vatican with the Pope and the Jesuits. Do you think that there's anything that they're holding from the public to know about, or do you think they're totally open and honest with everything that goes on?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, with everything, there is I just think about it. There's more to come. There's more to come. I mean, when it comes to like religious organizations, yeah, we do have a right to question and we do have a right to know.
Yeah.
Because these are, people that they, look up to. I mean, I don't believe in anything. I'm like an agnostic atheist, but I do believe in Mother Nature and stuff like that. So, but that's just me.
Yeah. Because when those types of like organized religion, when they are censoring stuff or they're hiding things, what would their excuse be? Is it because that's the thought process I keep going towards, is the religion is supposed to be about your belief system in, and I guess a deity, a god or gods or whatnot. And if there's secrecy and there's things that aren't known to the people who are part of that religion, doesn't that kind of affect the people, and what could affect them as far as their lives, their beliefs, a better way of, I guess, if they were going to live a certain way to adhere to their, I guess, either scriptures or I don't know what else it is. I don't know. It just feels like there shouldn't be that censorship, because there's people missing out on it. How is it going to really harm others, harm the people, especially in a religion? I mean, how is it supposed to harm people unless they're protecting those that probably shouldn't be protecting? I mean, we see it from the Pope and the higher ups, that the cardinals and whatnot, that they look at the scandal with the pedophilia. Right? They knew about it. They hid it. They allowed it to happen. They didn't allow repercussions. I mean, that stuff seems like something that everyone should know about, but probably most of it is they don't want their religion to look bad. And that's another thing.
They should do the right thing so they won't have to make their religion look bad. I mean,
yes.
Just be a fucking human being. Just go out. What?
That's an excellent point.
Exactly. I like that. That's very...
They should
Stop making yourself look bad then.
Yeah, stop making yourself fucking look bad. I was like, if you're just gonna hide in silence, yes, you're making yourself look bad, and people are starting to question the faith, and
yes,
that's the way I actually do see it. It's like, you're just gonna let this shit go? What the hell? It's like these higher ups, they're supposed to be people that they look up to and actually preach something.
Yeah.
And yet they're going to hide in silence. Like, yeah, well, we did this shit, but, still believe us. We're still good people. Although we do make our mistakes, we're still good people. And with the fake smile.
Yeah.
Praise God. Praise Jesus. Praise them all. Just admit that you have a fucking problem and not make yourself look bad. Just be honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, if there's like shady shit that's going on, that's, I mean, that's why, this gives me this gives me the reason why it's like, why are people looking up to these, these moralist figures?
Yeah.
I
mean, I thought that I'm kind of in the same boat, but like people who believe in the religion that look up to the preachers and whatnot, isn't it not about looking up to them, but looking up after the deity, the higher up, whatever the scriptures state for, say, Jesus? Isn't that the person that you should be looking up to, not the person who's talking about Jesus or talking about God, but actual God? And
I mean, I'm sorry.
Nope,
I was
you don't have to be sorry.
Like I was gonna say, for those people who want to be, believers, but not really. I mean, when it comes to like, being a good human being and actually doing stuff like, cooking for the homeless, really good things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that I really, with some, religious communities, they actually do that. And that's a good thing. They feed people that are hungry, and that's a really good thing.
Do you think it's a good thing where they're doing it because there's a ulterior motive? Like if they do something good for humanity, they see it as a way to buy in good graces for getting into, say, heaven or something like that?
No, not like not like that. I mean, just
I know. I'm just saying,
like random acts of kindness. I like that.
And I don't think that really is a long-term solution. I mean, because you always see like these scandals with priests or clergy, and they're always it's like they're doing these nefarious things. I mean, their religion didn't help them. It didn't keep them from being
terrible people or anything. It might have held it off for a little bit. It's like when you start a new relationship and you're trying to I don't want this person, but eventually you can't keep that up for very long. Yeah. So same thing with religion. You can't keep that up for very long. Eventually you're going to go back to being just a jerk. And that's what you see with that. It's like, it might keep it at bay for a little bit, but they'll go back to their ways.
But if it's that ways they're going to keep them that way, they're never going to learn anything. But it's like, why can't you just learn the lesson? Why don't you just own it basically? Just own it and just be honest and see what you could do to actually truly move forward instead of just keep up the habitual bullshit. But that's just me. It's like, I just don't like the habitual, the habitualness.
Yeah.
That's it. Would really get to them. And plus, if they see that, here's one thing. They just have to admit it to themselves and just have to accept that as the reality. And if they can't accept it as the reality, then they're never going to get the fucking help that they can get.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the same thing. Once you start censoring, it's like, you're like self-censoring. It's like, well, okay, well, I'll go into this and I'll just believe this thing and it'll all be okay if I just listen to this other person. It's like, they're not looking within. They're not thinking critically. If they were thinking critically, they just be like, wow, I'm doing some really terrible stuff. But they're not. They're looking at this other entity to like protect them or to, it's like, it's so screwed up. So screwed up.
It kind of goes back to that self-reliance or getting your own house in order first type of thing. So they're looking for outside of themselves to fix it for them. Same thing with when like the religious wars, and I think I get a lot of people off when I talk about going down the rabbit hole about the Luciferianism, Illuminati and stuff. But the thing about it is, when you look in the past, everything seems to stem from religion. Wars, rifts, politics, government. I mean, religion has its hands in everything, different types of religions, or the one religion to rule them all. The thing about it is when you see religious people talking about another religion and how bad that religion is, then they don't look to their own religion to see how bad their own religion is. I feel like
it's that moral authority right there. That's like, oh, we're gonna be so moralistic. Oh, we're gonna hide some of the, the stuff that we've been doing. We have our own fucked up skeletons. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, we could judge their skeletons and we have to look past that. Oh, we're gonna look past us and like make ourselves more moralistic.
Yeah.
I was like, you're gonna compare moralism? Why don't you just be a fucking good human being and actually do some fucking good humanity work? Why don't you fucking start with that instead of just be like, oh, we're gonna lecture, oh, we're gonna keep lecturing, we're gonna keep lecturing, we're gonna keep lecturing, and we're gonna keep moving on and on and on and still lecture and just still lecture. Oh, you're gonna question us. Oh, we're gonna get so triggered and we're gonna be offended and we're gonna censor and silence you. Oh, you found out about that? Oh no, triggered. That's actually I actually do see it. It's like with me, they just have to call themselves out. They have to do it to themselves too. I mean, if they're not gonna fucking own up to it, then they never will. They're gonna keep continuing to continue this habitual bullshit.
And that's what I was saying. Like we need more education when it comes to stuff like that, which is what I was touching on earlier. Is because a lot of people aren't even aware of the pitfalls that your own mind makes for you. That I mean, well, whether or not that it's constructed by the government or whatever whatever institution you want to pick, but it's like the human mind, it's susceptible to a lot of things. Whether it's through like what subconscious kind of thing like that, or
you know, we just ignore things, cognitive dissonance. I mean, there's just like so many things that can derail our train of thought to get us to a point to where we're not reaching the truth, or we're not reaching, you know, a place of like, you know, information. We're just, you know, it's a false line of like facts that we're leading ourselves down. And then, you know, that doesn't do anybody any good when we do stuff like that. It doesn't do us any good. It doesn't do our friends or our family, or, you know, our support structure any good. So it's like, you know, we have to be aware of like the harm that we do to our own minds.
Sorry, I should break it up now. I didn't realize that James started his show like 34 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago? Yeah, 30 minutes ago.
Oh, I thought he was monologuing. Okay.
I think he is still. But we could catch the end of his monologue and then join in there. But definitely good points from both, and good topic to talk about.
Yeah, this was a fun topic.
Oh,
I can go down this rabbit hole for hours, buddy. You don't want to get me started.
I do want to get you started. When Stevie goes on that rampage, same with Eric, man, everybody just kind of put your seatbelts on and just enjoy the ride. Because it's fun just listening. Because it's when you guys are talking and really going at it, all your cylinders are just revving up, and your thought processes are just like kicking like that, and so you get your points across fast. And
thank you.
Yeah, and that's something I can't do. I always have to think, and then say something, say something. And so my talking, the way that I talk is very like this. I pause a lot, and when I pause a lot, it doesn't jive. I mean, I get that rarity that you guys end up doing all the time, once in a blue moon, but yeah, I'm just like hearing other people when.
No, you've got like that Neil deGrasse Tyson type of charisma, the way you talk, you know, it's a little bit slower, you know, your thoughts, but it's like, you know, it's not boring. It's like you kind of just leave enough space to where people are hanging on it.
Okay.
So I like the way that you describe things.
I need to work on it a little bit better. It's a lot of filler sometimes.
Yeah, I like what LB the realist said. He's like, shout out to for always being there for me.
Yeah. He's good. He's good. Yeah. All right. Let's go and listen to Mana Talk Monologue.
All right.
Cool.
All right. See you over there.
See you guys later. Thanks again, Ebon. Take care, everyone.